My child of the light, listen closely, for it is I, your God, who speaks to you. In these days thick with clouds and the weight of anxiety pressing upon your soul, my voice still resounds not through noise but through the power of silence. That voice pierces through the clamor of the world, through the walls of doubt you have built around yourself, and reaches into the trembling place within your spirit. I do not come to judge, nor to scrutinize. I come to draw you out from the chaos that is swallowing your peace. Beloved, you have listened to too many voices, the voice of fear, the echoes of old memories, the demanding cry of the world, the words of those who once wounded you. They have blended together into a storm within your mind, leaving you unable to discern what is true and what is false. Yet among all those sounds there is one voice that has never disappeared, mine. Even when you thought I was silent, I was still speaking, still touching your soul in ways you did not yet perceive. My voice does not require sound to be heard, for it lives within every breath you take. You have asked within yourself, can I still be seen? Am I still loved? Have I gone too far? My child, these questions do not drive me away. They are unspoken prayers. When you no longer know what to ask for, your sighs have already reached me. When you think you have no words left, I understand that silence. I do not wait for your strength before I listen. I listen even when all you can do is tremble. I have seen your weariness in a world that demands you to be fine. I have seen you smile while your heart was breaking. I have seen you endure in silence, believing that keeping quiet is the best way not to disappoint anyone. But my child, that silence has drained your soul. You thought silence was strength, but sometimes it has only been a way to wound yourself. So today I say to you, let your voice be heard. Speak your pain, your fear, your doubt, for I am not offended by them. I am the one who created emotion within you, and I understand every pulse of it. Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name, you are mine. Isaiah 4:3-1. My child, this is not merely an ancient line etched in sacred text. It is a living word. It is my breath carried through time, speaking to you in this very moment. Before you knew sin, I knew mercy. Before you learned fear, I taught love how to cast it out. You do not have to prove your worth to be accepted by me. You are received simply because you exist within my will. My child, when you sit in the darkness and believe no one sees you, I still see. Not to inspect, but to ensure that my light still shines there. I do not look with the eyes of judgment, but with the gaze of mercy. You are not invisible to me. You are not lost among the billions of souls I have created. Before your form took shape, I called you by name, and that name is not shame, not failure, not useless, but mine. My beloved, you have wandered through the gardens of this world, reaching for fruits that do not last. You thought that recognition, affection, or success would fill the emptiness within. Yet all of these are morning dew that fades too quickly. They weary you because you are searching for what is eternal in what is fleeting. Your soul was not made to live by applause, but by my presence. You are not lacking. You are thirsty. You are not lost. You are on your way back to the source. I know there are nights when you lie awake and whisper, why am I here? What is my purpose? My child, I did not create you merely to exist. I created you to reflect my light in a world of shadows. You carry within you the spark of life, even when you cannot feel it. Each time you touch another, with kindness the light spreads. Each time you forgive, each time you choose love over bitterness, the light grows stronger. You may feel small, but it is the quiet souls who love deeply that shake the foundations of the world. You think I am only high above, surrounded by glory and angelic song, but I am nearer than your breath. When you breathe, I am in that breath. When you weep, I am in those tears. When you are weary, I am the warmth that remains in your heart. I am not distant. I have not turned away. I do not withdraw when you are weak. I am the one beside you in all things, even when you no longer believe in yourself. Do not let the world define your worth. They may label you, call you names, dismiss you. But I have placed my seal upon you, and that seal cannot be erased. You are the work of my hands, crafted with intention, molded by the breath of the eternal. Nothing about you is accidental. No tear you have shed is wasted. No pain has gone unnoticed. I have watched every step you've taken, even when you thought no one cared. When you fell, I knelt beside you. When you were silent, I still spoke. When you sank into the depths of doubt, I spread my light to the bottom of that pit to remind you, no matter how low you fall, I can still reach you. No distance is too far for me. No mistake is greater than my love. No darkness is deep enough to hide the soul I have chosen. You often look at yourself and see only what needs fixing, erasing, redoing. But I look at you and see what is being renewed. I am not impatient with your becoming. I am patient because I know every small step matters. The seed does not sprout overnight. It needs silence, darkness, and time. So it is with you. You are being formed in quiet, strengthened in waiting. And through it all, I am there, not watching from afar, but walking beside you. Do not try to appear strong before me. Let me see the cracks. Let me touch the places you have kept hidden for too long. Light cannot enter a room whose door remains locked. I do not come to break, but to knock. And if you only open, if you only whisper, come in, then light will pour through, not loudly, not forcefully, but surely. For my light does not seek excuses to leave. It seeks every reason to stay. My child, I say to you, do not fear your weakness. Weakness is not failure. It is an invitation for my strength to be revealed. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 1:2-9. When you let go, I can lift you with both hands. When you stop striving to hold everything together, peace can finally flow in. Let me carry the heavy part. Let me go before you. You do not need to know the whole path, only that I am already in your next step. It is time to stop running, stop chasing what fades. Stop condemning yourself for what has passed. Allow yourself to breathe in grace. Do not fear when I uncover what you've hidden. I reveal not to shame, but to heal. I do not search for faults. I seek the fragments to mend. I do not judge to condemn. I speak to set free. I do not dig into your past to disgrace you, but to show you my hand was there, even when you thought I was gone. When you feel too weak to rise, remember, I walked that valley before you. When you fear that the darkness will swallow the light, remember, light cannot be extinguished, for I am the light. I do not change. I do not grow weary. I will not give up. You may forget, but I do not forget. You may lose your way, but I know the road home. You may fall, but I know how to lift you. So lift your head, do not bow before your past. The past has no power to define you, for I have rewritten your story. You are not named by failure, but by love. You are not bound by fear, but by grace. Look around you, the light is returning. Look within you, faith is awakening. I did not call you to merely endure. I called you to live, not just to survive, but to live abundantly. I did not give you a heart to tremble forever, but to beat with courage. I did not place your soul in the world to drown, but to shine. You are not abandoned, not forgotten, not replaced. You are irreplaceable in my eternal design. My beloved child, therefore come close, listen. Do not let fear blur the sound of my voice. I am not far, I am here at this very moment. Let my presence become your breath, so that when you are weak, you are lifted. When you doubt, you are steadied. When you feel alone, you are filled. And I now speak this as an eternal engraving upon your soul. You are mine. You are loved, not for what you do, but because of who I am within you. You are not forgotten. You are being held. My child, I speak to you from the deepest place of mercy, not through thunder or fire, but through the gentle breath of kindness. I know you once believed that my love existed only when you did right, when you walked uprightly, when you were worthy. But my child, if my love required a reason, it would cease to be love. If my grace had to be earned, it would cease to be grace. I love you not because you are perfect, but because I am love itself. Love does not seek reasons to love. It is the reason. You do not have to chase approval to please me, for I delighted in you before you knew my name. When you fail, I do not withdraw my heart. When you stumble, I do not erase your name from heaven's book. When you are weak, I do not turn away. I have seen it all, and still I say, you are mine. There are days when you feel the distance between us is too wide, when my holiness seems too great and your soul too stained. Yet you forget I was the one who crossed that distance. I did not wait for you to climb up to heaven. I descended to earth. I did not wait for you to cleanse yourself. I washed you with innocent blood. I did not stand across the chasm calling from afar. I stepped into the depths to carry you out. My love is not afraid of dirt. It enters the very places you hide in shame. It touches the wounds you cannot even name. You thought I only dwell in temples, in light, in perfect prayers. But I have been there in the room where you closed the door, in the broken breath, in the night you could not sleep. I sat beside you silently, not to preach, not to explain, but simply to be, because sometimes presence is the truest language of love. You cannot sin enough to exhaust my love. You cannot fall deep enough to slip beyond my reach. You cannot lose yourself so completely that I cannot find you again. I am the shepherd who seeks the lost, and when I find you, I do not scold or strike. I lift you upon my shoulders and bring you home in joy. You have heard that story, but understand this: you are that lamb. And today I am still walking toward you, through deserts, through dust, just to touch your soul. When you bow your head in regret, I do not count faults. When you cry in self-disdain, I do not recoil. When you tremble and whisper, "Forgive me," I have already opened my arms before the words are complete. I have loved you with an everlasting love, therefore I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. Jeremiah 3:1-3. This is not an ancient phrase, it is alive now for you. My child, do not mistake my love for indulgence. I do not overlook sin, but I see it through the lens of redemption. I do not accept darkness, but I turn it into the stage where light shines brightest. I do not approve of wrong, but I transform it into the road that leads you home. Grace is not a license to wander, it is the power to return. My love does not excuse weakness, it awakens life. You have measured yourself by the standards of the world's success, status, recognition. But I do not use those rulers. I look at the heart. I see the effort within your struggle, the tears behind your smile, the longing to begin again. And I say, enough, my child. Stop condemning yourself. Let me love you. I do not love the part of you you show others. I love the part you hide, the part that asks, am I really worth anything? That is where I long to dwell. For where you see your worst, my grace shines brightest. You do not have to become someone else to be loved by me. I love you right here in the process, in the learning, in the stumbling, in the becoming. I see what you do not yet see, a soul reborn in light. Remember, my love not only forgives, it restores. It not only cleanses, it renews. It not only erases guilt, it restores dignity. When I look at you, I do not see only what you have done. I see what you are destined to become. I do not remember your sins to punish you. I remember your story to redeem it. The years that were lost I will return. The things that were stolen I will repay. What you thought had ended I will begin anew. You think I love you only when you pray, but I also love you when you are silent. You think I hear only your words, but I hear your sighs. You think I dwell only in worship, but I walk among your ordinary days, in the crowd, in the kitchen, at your work, in the moments you call mundane. My love does not wait for holy places. It makes every place holy. I have entered the deepest pain to prove that there is no place I will not go. When you think I am far, I am near. When you think I am silent, I am teaching you to hear with your soul. I do not want you to merely know me with your mind. I want you to feel me with your heart. That is why I allow the pauses not to make you doubt, but to make you trust, even when you cannot sense me. My love is not fragile like emotion, but steadfast like my being. It does not waver with the winds of circumstance or crumble under failure. You may change, but I do not. You may forget, but I remember. You may wander, but I know the way back. Therefore, do not believe that our bond can be broken. Even if you turn away, the thread remains. Even in your silence, love still speaks. My child, do not call yourself a failure just because you fell. Do not label yourself a burden just because someone left. Do not think your past determines your future. When I said all things are made new, I did not mean the past was hidden. I meant you were reborn. You no longer live under the shadow of old shame. Step into the light. Let truth free you. Let my love clothe you in gentleness, purity, and peace. I know what shattered your heart. I know who left, who made you doubt your worth. But do not let pain define you. It is a chapter, not the whole story. I will use the broken pieces to write something beautiful. Ashes are not the end, they are the soil from which new life rises. You are not lost, you are being remade. You are not ruined, you are being shaped in my hands. You will be called by a new name that the mouth of the Lord will bestow. Isaiah 6:2-2. You will no longer be called abandoned, not enough, unworthy. Your name now is beloved, chosen, redeemed. When I name you anew, every chain breaks. When I say live, no power can keep you buried in fear. My love is not only tender, it is refining fire. It burns away what is false to reveal what is true. When you feel stripped, it is because I am freeing you from what no longer serves you. When you feel bare, I am clothing you with liberty. My love never wounds to wound. It wounds to heal. Like a goldsmith purifying gold, I burn away the dross, so that you may shine brighter, purer, truer. I do not love you to demand service. I love you so that service becomes joy, not duty. When you live in love, every act becomes worship. When you forgive, when you help, when you speak kindness, these are the echoes of my love flowing through you. I do not need you to prove devotion. I want you to live aware that you are already loved, and from that awareness everything else will flow like a river from its source. Let my love surround you, like air. Do not try to analyze it, let it move through you. When you allow it, it will touch every fragment of your being and piece you back together. I do not draw only straight lines. I use curves, breaks, shadows, and still the painting is radiant. My child, do not fear that my love is too great. It does not come to overpower, but to liberate. It does not come to shame you, but to crown you with forgiveness. When I love, I do not portion, I overflow. When I give, I withhold nothing. When I forgive, I forget not from weakness, but from choice. My love keeps no record of wrongs. It turns sins into testimonies of grace. Stop running from that love. Let it wash away every stain of guilt, every scar of fear, every whisper of shame. Let it sink deep into your bones, renew your mind, and flood your soul with light. When you let my love reach the very core, you will witness miracles. You will forgive what once felt impossible, love whom you once resented, and smile in the places you once wept. My love is your life source. When you receive it, you will see that nothing happening to you is meaningless. You will understand that the pain that broke you was not meant to destroy, but to give birth. You will realize that every wound can become proof of goodness, and you will see more clearly than ever before, I have never left you. I am here. Still, I am the Eternal One, unchanging, unending. And once again I declare, as an unbreakable covenant. You are loved, you are forgiven, you are held, not because of what you do, but because of who I am within you. My love surpasses every failure, and it will never be withdrawn. My child, I am calling you home, not to a place, but to a breath of peace, to rest under the shadow of my wings. You have walked many roads through stones and turns through promises and closed doors, but now I say to you, stop running, stop striving, stop searching elsewhere. The rest you crave is not at the end of the path, it is in me. How many times have you thought you were near what you sought, only to find it was a mirage? You placed hope in what fades in people and results in tomorrow, and when they slipped away, you believed I did too. But I have never left. Even when you walked away, I remained. Even when you shut your heart, I stood at the door and knocked. I do not grow weary of waiting, for true love never tires. My child, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in to him. Revelation 3:20. That word is not distant, meant for some other nation. It is for you now. I do not ask you to prepare. I do not require perfection. I do not need you to be spotless before opening. Just turn your heart. Just open a little, and I will step in. And when I enter, the darkness will vanish on its own. You do not need to chase it away, for light always wins. You have lived in the state of trying for too long, trying to be worthy, trying not to disappoint, trying to hide the tender places of your soul. But my child, you were not created to live in endless effort. You were made to live in the flow of grace. Grace does not come from striving, it comes from surrender. When you stop resisting, when you lay your burdens at my feet, you will witness the miracle of peace. I know there are things that make you hesitate to draw near. You fear that I will mention the past. You fear that my light will expose what you've learned to hide. You fear the truth. But child, my light does not come to shame you, it comes to heal. You think light exposes you, but it actually reveals you, so you can be saved. Darkness cannot heal what it conceals. Only when you let me shine upon it will the wounds begin to close. You have lived too long under the strain of control, arranging, calculating, planning for every risk. But you cannot command the wind, nor make the sun rise sooner. Let go. Let me do what you cannot. Let me carry what was never yours to bear. You were never meant to hold the world, for the world rests in my hands. You need only be faithful to your part, the small but sacred one, to trust me. You once thought that faith meant understanding, but faith does not require comprehension. It requires surrender. To believe is not to have every answer, but to know the one who holds them all. When you trust in me, you are not falling into emptiness. You are stepping upon the rock eternal. You will see when you stop grasping for control, peace will seep into your very bones. When you stop fearing loss, you will find you are kept. When you stop worrying about tomorrow, the present becomes holy. Return to me not because I am angry, but because I am merciful. Not because I wish to judge, but because I long to restore. I do not ask you to repay the years that were lost. I will redeem them. I do not ask you to mend yourself. I will heal you. I do not ask you to prove your worth. I will make you worthy. Just come back. Just whisper, I am here, and I will do the rest. When you return, you will see that my house was never closed. The door was never locked, only forgotten. You have wandered far, but I have kept the lamp burning. Every flicker of light you notice in the night is a signal from me. I am still calling, come home. Not to interrogation, but to embrace. Not to pay a price, but to find rest. Not to punishment, but to healing. I know your heart has hardened from disappointment. You once trusted and were betrayed. You once opened and were wounded. You once gave and were abandoned. I saw it all, but my child, do not let human pain define divine love. Do not let someone else's silence make you think I have closed my door. I am not like a man. I do not love, then change my mind. I do not promise, then forget. I do not leave when you are weak. My love has no condition and no end. A bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not snuff out. Isaiah 4:2-3. You think you are nothing but ashes can glow when I breathe on them. You think your flame is gone, but I can reignite it with a single spark. You think you are broken, but I do not discard. I reshape. Not to expose your pain, but to restore your true form, the image I carved into your soul from the beginning. When you return, you will understand that I was never angry, only waiting. My waiting is not weakness. It is proof of love's patience. I wait not because I must, but because love never forces. Love believes, love endures. Every tear you shed on the road back is gathered by me. Every sigh of regret is heard. None of it is wasted. All flows into the ocean of my mercy. When you come home, I will not ask, "Why did you leave?" I will only say, "I rejoice that you are here." No shame can stand before the gaze of grace. When I look at you, I do not see sin, I see the true you, the one I created pure. My love does not search for faults. It searches for my image in you, and when I see it even beneath the dust, I recognize it as mine. Do not be surprised when I make all things new. When you open your heart, I will change the very sky above you. What was once gray will turn clear. I will breathe new life into the dreams you thought were dead. I will restore the joy the enemy stole. I will return laughter, peace, and faith, not as before, but as they were meant to be. I do not just restore, I multiply. I do not just heal, I renew. I do not just mend, I recreate. You will feel a rest, not born of ease, but of freedom from fear. Fear melts when love takes its place. When you know I hold your hand, you will stop staring at the storm. When you know I am in the boat, you will no longer fear the waves. When you know I am the source, you will not dread lack. When you know I am life, you will not fear death. When you know I am love, you will cease running from yourself. Let me cover you in my peace, the peace not given by the world nor taken by it. Let it soak into every thought, every breath. It is not the peace of calm seas, but peace in the storm. Not outer silence, but the stillness of a soul certain that the Almighty reigns. You have sought affirmation from the world, but seek it in me. For when I say you are loved, no one else needs to confirm it. When I say you are chosen, no force can deny it. When I say you are mine, no circumstance can separate you. Nothing can separate us from the love of God. Romans 8:3, 8:39. Not the past, not the present, not fear, not failure. My love is your shield, your unyielding embrace. Step out of the darkness. Let my light fall upon your face. Let me wipe your tears. Let me turn your mourning into song. Let me crown you with beauty for ashes. Let me make your story broken, ashamed, a testimony of grace. No one is too far to return. No one is too guilty to be forgiven. No one too shattered to be made whole again. And now I invite you into rest, not the rest of one who is finished, but of one who knows all is in my hands. Breathe deeply and let your soul know I am here. I have always been here from the beginning through the journey to the end. I am your source, your destination, your peace. My beloved, breathe deeply and feel the rhythm of grace, not the kind the world gives measured and withdrawn, but the endless flow from my heart, a river that never runs dry. Every moment you live, every breath you draw, is proof that my mercy still surrounds you. Whether you see it or not, you are living inside my grace. Grace is more than forgiveness, child. Forgiveness is the doorway. Grace is the home I built for you. It not only erases sin, it restores identity. It not only washes, it resurrects. When you think you've reached the end, grace becomes your beginning. When you think the light is gone, grace rekindles the flame. When you cannot love yourself, Grace becomes my arms around you, whispering, "You are still precious." Grace is not a reward, it is inheritance. You did nothing to earn it, and you can do nothing to lose it. Grace is not my reaction, it is my nature. I do not give grace because you act rightly, but because I am merciful. Grace does not come from your effort, but from my unchanging being. When you fall, I do not count the times, I count your tears, and I use them to water the seeds of renewal. There are days you feel hollow, as though life within has withered. But even then, my grace is soaking into your roots. I am rain upon dry grass, water in the desert, dew upon the branch. Grace does not flow only where abundance dwells. It seeks the barren soil. It does not avoid the wasteland. It creates springtime there. For the grace of God has appeared, bringing salvation to all people. Titus 2:1-1. Grace does not discriminate. It falls like rain, asking no one if they deserve to be wet. All may receive it. Only the open-hearted will feel it. Yet here is the mystery. No one truly opens until they know they need it. That is why I do not despise your weakness. In weakness, grace finds roots. You thought grace was for others, for the righteous, the unbroken. But no, my child, grace is for the shattered. It is born for those who cannot save themselves. It goes to the deepest pit of sin to prove that my love goes deeper still. Grace is the answer to the whisper, "I cannot." And when you say that, I respond, "I can." My child, I did not create grace to adorn religion, but to resurrect souls. Grace is not a theory. It is the heartbeat of my being. Every time you fall, yet are lifted. Every time you stumble, yet are held. That is grace in motion. It makes no noise and seeks no praise. It flows quietly through every moment when you think I am silent. How many times have you asked, "Why am I still alive after so many failures?" It is because of grace. Why has the door not closed when I have fallen again? It is because of grace. Why do I still feel love when there should only be judgment? That too is grace. My child, grace does more than keep you from dying. It teaches you how to live. It not only saves, it transforms. When I breathed into Adam, he became a living soul. When I breathed into Ezekiel, dry bones rose into an army. And when I breathed into you, your spirit returns to the rhythm I ordained. That breath is grace. It does not come once and end. It comes anew every day. Each morning you awake, I breathe into you again. When you inhale, you draw in my mercy. When you exhale, you release fear. Every breath whispers you live, because grace is still at work. Grace reaches not only what is outward, but enters your mind. It renews the way you see yourself. The world teaches you to look at your mistakes. Grace teaches you to see your potential. The world calls you broken. Grace says, you are being remade. The world binds you with the past. Grace frees you with the future. It does not cover sin. It transforms sin into glory, for where sin increased, grace abounded. All the more Romans 5:20. Let grace become your breath. Do not only receive it in prayer and forget it in living. Let it saturate every act, every word, every thought. When you despair, breathe in grace. When you are angry, breathe out grace. When you are wounded, let grace flow through the wound like fragrant oil. When you look upon another with judgment, remember, you too are sustained by the same grace. Grace not only gives you the right to be forgiven, but the right to live differently. It teaches you to walk, not in fear, but in freedom. It frees you from the burden of being perfect. It allows you to be real, to be weak, to be in process, and still to be wholly loved. For I do not love you at the destination. I love you along the way. I am not only at the end of the road, I am at every step. I want you to live in the rhythm of grace, unhurried, gentle, and full of trust. When you walk in that rhythm, you will no longer feel dragged by the weight of this world. You will cease trying to prove your worth or earn a love you already have. Grace will teach you to live as one who is loved without striving, without fear, without comparison. Do not fear. when I break the old. When I prune dead branches, it is not rejection of the tree, but preparation for bloom. When I close a door, it is not to lose you, but to lead you to the truth. Grace does not always appear as you expect. Sometimes it comes clothed as loss. But do not fear, for even loss in my hands carries purpose. Remember, grace does not only save you from evil, it saves you from yourself, from self-condemnation, from the need to control, from the pressure to understand everything. Grace will teach you to trust like a child, to rest in my arms without fear of tomorrow. That is the peace no one can steal. When you look back and see countless cracks, know that the light of grace shines through those very places. If you had never suffered, you would not know how sweet grace is. If you had never fallen, you would not know how patient grace can be. If you had never lost, you would not know how fully grace restores. I do not teach you through success. I teach you through mercy. Let grace be the loudest voice within you. When the enemy whispers, "You are unworthy," answer, "His grace is sufficient for me." When he says, "You are ruined," answer, "I am being reborn." When he recalls your past, answer, "My sins are erased." Do not let accusation drown out truth, for I have declared, "There is now no condemnation for those who are in me." Now breathe deeply. Feel the breath of grace filling your lungs. Let it move through every corner of your spirit, carrying light, healing, and life. You are no longer condemned. You are reborn. You are no longer a slave to fear. You are an heir of grace. You no longer beg for love. You dwell in its source. I speak to you. My grace never runs dry, and my mercy never ceases. They are new every morning. Great is my faithfulness. Lamentations 3:22-23. Therefore, my child, live, breathe, and walk in the rhythm of grace. Do not look back in shame, nor forward in fear. Look at the present, where I am with you, where my breath mingles with yours, where grace has become your very life. My beloved, I see you standing among the ruins of what once was. Dreams you thought would endure now lie as ashes. Promises you trusted now fade like echoes in the wind. People you thought would walk with you forever have become distant memories. You have looked around and seen only wreckage, and for a moment you believed it was the end. But my child, ruins are not endings. They are the ground where my grace begins to build. You think you have lost everything, but in loss I am laying a new foundation. You think you are being lowered, but in humility I am preparing glory. You think you are abandoned, but I am clearing the way for what is real. My grace not only comforts, it rebuilds. It does not merely wipe tears, it turns them into oil for the lamp of faith. It does not only lift you, it sets your feet upon the rock of peace. Where you see debris, I see foundation. Where you see ruin, I see potential. Where you see an ending, I see a beginning. For I do not see with human eyes, I see with purpose. I know what must fall so truth may rise. Sometimes what you call loss is the miracle of clearing. My grace works not only in victory, but in defeat. It may look like destruction, but it is preparation for restoration. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans for peace, not harm, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 2:9-11. This is not a vague promise. It is a decree that stands firm. Even amid ruins, my plan remains whole. Nothing in your life is beyond my reach. No disaster is beyond redemption. No wound is beyond transformation. Do not fear what has broken. Do not rush to piece together fragments of the old. Do not cling to what I have removed. You cannot pour new peace into old vessels. Let me renew all things. Let me rebuild with my own hands. My reconstruction is never hurried. I build not with what you choose, but with love, patience, and light. When I rebuild, no storm can topple, for the foundation is eternity itself. You have asked, why must I endure such pain? And I say, my child, no wound is wasted. Every scar is a window through which the light of grace enters. Had you not broken, you would never know the strength of rising. Had you not lost, you would never grasp the joy of being found. Had you not been rejected, you would never feel the wonder of being chosen. Grace does not remove pain. It makes pain sacred. I do not want you to merely survive. I want you to stand, not by your strength but by mine. You have leaned on yourself too long, and that has wearied you. Now let me be your strength. Let my peace be the wings that lift you. Let my mercy be the river that washes away the debris. When you let me act, you will witness this. The wind will no longer break you but carry you. Tears will no longer sting but anoint. Failure will no longer end stories but begin miracles. My grace not only pulls you from the pit, it teaches you to walk upon the waters, not by magic, but by faith. When your eyes stay on me, the storm cannot drown you. You will see that peace does not come when storms end, but when you know who is within them. True peace is not the silence after chaos, but the presence that remains through it. My child, some think peace means the end of battle. But peace is triumph within battle. When your heart is calm amid chaos, that is power. When you do not retaliate though wronged, that is strength. When you choose forgiveness over resentment, that is victory. When you choose faith over fear, you walk in the power of peace. I say to you, learn to rest in me. Rest does not mean to stop, it means to trust. When you act without striving, love without fear, give without demand, then you live in rest. Grace does not demand, it invites. Grace does not force, it draws. Grace does not punish, it transforms. When you understand this, you will know that true strength lies not in control but in surrender. My peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. John 1:4-7. Do you hear it? The peace I give does not come and go, does not shift with the weather, does not depend on circumstance. It roots deeply like a tree unmoved by storms. When you have my peace, nothing can steal it. The enemy may threaten, but he cannot touch it. People may misunderstand, but they cannot take it away. Understand this, my child, peace is not a reward at the end. It is the way itself. You do not pass through suffering to reach peace. Peace is born within suffering. When you sit among ruins, yet still say, I believe peace has already blossomed within you. When you walk through desolation and still sing, praise, peace has already conquered your soul. Peace does not wait for the storm to cease. It is the vessel I give you to cross it. My child, peace is not a feeling, it is knowing. It is knowing that whatever happens, I remain, I am. It is the assurance that even when you cannot see the road, you trust the one who leads. It is the certainty that nothing can separate you from my love. When your heart knows this, you will not need to prove, to argue, or to fear. My grace teaches what the world cannot, that true power flows from gentleness. The world says, be strong through might, but I say, be strong through meekness. The world says, defend yourself, but I say, be still and keep peace. The world says, do not be weak, but I say, when you are weak, my strength is made perfect. That is the paradox of my kingdom, where the last become first, the broken are used, the humble are exalted, and the wounded become healers. My child, let grace teach you to walk not with fear, but with steadfast peace. When you learn to walk slowly, you will see the path clearly. When you learn to be still, you will hear my voice. When you learn to let go, you will feel my hand. Peace is not distant. It lives within you, for I dwell within you. When you know that I am here, even if the world trembles, your heart will remain calm. My beloved, I do not say that you will never shed tears, but I promise that your tears will not be wasted. Every drop is a seed watered in the soil of grace. Every pain is a doorway through which peace enters. Every time you choose faith over despair, you are walking in the power of heaven's kingdom. Therefore, my child, rise. Do not gaze upon the ruins any longer. Look up, for I am rebuilding. Do not tremble before the past. Walk in the present of grace. Let your heart learn the rhythm of peace, slow, deep, steady, unhurried. That is the rhythm of heaven. That is my rhythm. Beloved, I know you have prayed that I take away your weakness, your limitations, your fears that cling to your soul like shadows. You have wept and said, "Please make me stronger." But I tell you, you do not need to become strong as the world defines strength. True strength is not born in safety, but in sanctified weakness. I have heard your prayer, no sigh of your soul has fallen into emptiness. But my child, instead of removing your weakness, I have given you another gift, sufficient grace. Because I know if I remove your weakness, you will lean on yourself. But when I allow you to keep it, you will lean on me. It is there that my power is revealed. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 1:9. You thought weakness was failure, but in my kingdom it is where I perform miracles. When you fall, I do not despise you. I bend down. When you confess, I cannot, I answer, I can. When you stop pretending to be strong, I can reveal true strength. The world teaches you to hide your cracks, but I use those very cracks for my light to shine through. If you were never broken, I could never shine through you. If you never fell apart, you would never learn how to depend on me. There are seasons when you think you've been abandoned, but in truth I am training you. You see yourself as weak, but your weakness is my tool. I do not build heroes, I form the humble. For heroes seek glory for themselves, but the humble bring glory to the one who saved them. When you rise from your weakness, the world will know it is not you, but I in you. I know there are days you ask, why me? Why must I go through this? You cannot see why I allow pain when I could prevent it. But my child, if you could glimpse what I am doing through these trials, you would bow in worship instead of complaint. I do not permit pain to punish, but to refine, not to crush, but to lift, not to make you smaller, but to show you how great grace can be within what seems fragile. Like gold in fire, your soul is being refined. Fire does not destroy gold. It removes its impurities. Trials do not destroy you. They make you shine brighter. The more you are refined, the clearer my reflection becomes in you. That is why I allow fire. For my fire does not consume, it purifies. It does not burn away, it renews. It does not destroy, it makes whole. You once thought glory only comes when you stand on the mountaintop. But I say to you, glory begins at the knees that bend. When you kneel in defeat and still pray, that is glory. When you weep yet still believe, that is glory. When you are wounded yet still choose to love, that is glory. Glory is not the absence of pain, but the recognition of my presence within it. When the world sees you broken yet shining, weak yet steadfast, it is then that I am glorified. My child, I am never ashamed of your weaknesses. I do not avoid the places where you fall. It is there that I dwell. I step into your collapse not to condemn, but to lift. When you think you've hit bottom, I am there, forming the foundation for your rise. You cannot fall beyond my grasp, for my hand is the lowest depth of every pit. I know there are wounds you dare not touch. They have lingered too long, becoming scars, becoming silent. You think time will heal them, but only I can. Time passes, grace restores. Let me touch that place, the one you've hidden, the one you think I cannot bear to see. I have seen it all. And right there, I will turn your tears into oil, your shame into testimony, your past into a witness of mercy. You have heard, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Matthew 5:4. My child, the blessing is not in the sorrow, but in the comfort I give within sorrow. The blessing is not in the tears, but in my hand that wipes them away. The blessing is not in loss, but in my presence that fills the emptiness. When you suffer and still keep your heart tender, when you are hurt but still open to me, that is where glory is born. You ask, How can I rise when I have nothing left, I say, through me? Not through willpower, not through intellect, not through striving, but through surrender. Let me be at your feet. Let me walk within you. When you are weak, lean on my shoulder. When you are afraid, take my hand. When you are weary, rest in me. I do not require your strength. I desire your honesty. Strength is not never falling, it is returning after every fall. My child, I am teaching you a lesson. The wise of this world cannot grasp that glory is not born in victory, but in restoration. The world celebrates the conquerors, but I honor those who rise after defeat. The world exalts the strong, but I choose the dependent, for they alone understand the worth of grace. Grace does not merely save the soul, it trains the soul. It teaches you to love when love is difficult to believe, amid doubt to stand firm amid storms. Every wound you bear is not a mark of shame, but a medal of faith. You have walked through suffering without losing kindness. You have been hurt without becoming bitter. You have been betrayed and still chosen to trust. My child, this is the evidence that grace has taken root deep within you. I do not want you to fear weakness anymore. Look at the cross. There, my son, the most perfect, one chose weakness, humiliation, and the nails. To the world that was failure, to me it was triumph. Through weakness I redeemed the world. Through suffering I broke the chains of sin. Through death I opened the gates of life. If I could turn the cross into a throne of glory, my child, can I not turn your trials into testimonies of victory? When you suffer, you share in the fellowship of Christ's suffering. When you are comforted, you share in his resurrection. No pain is wasted when given to me. I will use every tear to water the souls of others. You will become one who understands, one who lifts, one who heals, for you know what it means to be broken. Those who have been wounded the deepest when restored become the strongest healers. Do not see yourself as a victim of your past, but as a witness of grace. When you tell your story of brokenness and still carry light, you are preaching the gospel with your very breath. You need no pulpit, no title, only a sincere heart that knows I was weak, but he made me strong. The world needs souls like yours, not perfect but real, not all powerful but surrendered. Remember, my child, every time you choose faith in despair, heaven trembles. Every time you say yes through tears, angels sing. Every time you rise unseen, I see and I rejoice. For I do not seek flawless souls, but souls who dare to let me touch their cracks. My beloved child, what I am doing within you is greater than what you can understand. I am writing a story whose first chapter may be sorrowful, but its ending shall be glorious. Do not be afraid while the pen is still in my hand. Do not rush while the page is still being written. Let me complete the work I have begun with you. For I who have started this good work in you will bring it to completion. Philippians 1:6. Remember, true strength does not come from never falling, but from knowing who has lifted you up. When you realize this, every trial becomes a stepping stone, every tear a river of grace, every weakness a source of light. And then when you look back, you will no longer ask why, but say thank you. Do not fear the darkness, for my light is already within you. Do not be ashamed of the scars, for they are proof that you have been healed. Do not hide your weakness, for through it my power will be revealed. My child, when I see you step out of the dark days, I see something rising within your soul, a new life, gentle yet strong like a sprout breaking through the soil after a long rain. You have endured drought, you have known loneliness, you have tasted tears and confusion. But now I declare to you the time of rebirth has come. My light is seeping through every crack in your soul. It is not harsh, not hurried, but tender and steadfast. You need not throw the doors wide open. Only a small opening is enough, and the light will enter on its own. For my light does not demand, it invites. It does not force, it gently touches. Like the dawn that quietly paints the sky, I am doing the same within your spirit. Do you remember, my child? Once you lived in fear, believing that holiness was something distant, reserved for the perfect, for those untouched by sin. But I tell you, this holiness is not a reward for the sinless. It is the path of the beloved. It is not a far-off destination, but a journey I am leading you through, step by step, day by day, moment by moment, every time you say yes in the midst of the darkness. Holiness is not a garment you sew with effort. It is the robe I place upon you through grace. When you allow me to cleanse your heart, you are clothing yourself in my light. When you choose forgiveness, you reflect my holiness. When you keep your heart pure amid a dusty world, you are walking the path of truth. Holiness is not distance, it is intimacy with me. I do not ask for your perfection. I desire your honesty. For I cannot touch the mask, you must let me touch what is real. When you say I am weak, I say I am enough. When you confess I am afraid, I declare I am your peace. When you whisper I do not know the way, I answer I am the way. Truth is the foundation of holiness, for only in truth can light dwell. There will be days when your heart feels closed, not because you wish to turn from me, but because you fear the light will expose what you are not ready to face. But I tell you, my light does not expose to shame. It exposes to heal. It does not reveal to condemn, but to guide. My light always walks hand in hand with mercy. It will never wound you when you let me lead the process. I am renewing your mind. Old patterns are being undone, fears are fading, and in the stillness, my spirit is whispering into your inner being. You will see that holiness is not something you do, but something you become when I dwell within you. Transformation does not come through striving, but through abiding. When you remain in me, you are renewed not once but every day. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may discern what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God. Romans 1:2-2. This is the work I am doing for you, my child. I do not change you from the outside, I renew you from the roots. My spirit is reaching the deepest layers of your soul where false beliefs have taken hold. I am replacing them with truth. I am rewriting the words that the enemy once inscribed on you through sin, pain, and shame. I am rewriting them with fire, with light, with my name. You will see little by little that the things you once feared will lose their power. The memories that once brought pain will no longer control you, not because they have vanished, but because I now dwell within them. I do not erase your past, I redeem it. I do not deny what happened, but I give it new meaning. Your past is no longer a chain, but a testimony of grace. I am teaching you to live as a free soul. Freedom is not the absence of boundaries. It is living in truth, your true nature, made in my image. When you know who you are in me, you will no longer crave the approval of others. When you understand your true worth, criticism will no longer wound you. When you walk in the light, darkness will lose its dominion over you. My beloved, rebirth does not come in a single emotional moment, but through daily choices. Each time you choose what is right over what is easy, you are being reborn. Each time you choose silence over anger, you are being reborn. Each time you choose prayer over complaint, you are being reborn. And I am there watching each moment, strengthening you to go on. My spirit is moving within you, not loudly, not dramatically, but surely. Just as the wind is unseen, yet stirs the branches, so my presence moves the strings of your soul. You will know you are changing not because of effort, but because you dwell near me. Intimacy always births transformation. No one can stand in the light and remain unchanged in the dark. There will be days when you feel not holy enough, not faithful enough, not good enough. But remember, holiness is not the fruit of perfection, it is the response of love. When you love me, you will naturally turn away from what wounds that love. When you love me sincerely, sin loses its allure. When you love me, you do not strive to avoid wrong, you simply do not wish to grieve the one who has loved you so deeply. My beloved child, I do not want you to live under the weight of guilt. Guilt makes you hide from me, but repentance draws you back. Guilt causes you to bow your head in fear, but repentance lifts your face in hope. When you truly return, I remember your sins no more. Their sins I will remember no more. Hebrews 8:1-2. This is not forgetfulness, it is a choice. I choose to see you through the lens of the blood that was shed through the light of redemption. Holiness does not separate you from the world, it enables you to bring light into it. I have not placed you on high to isolate you, but to illuminate. Holiness is not moral pride, it is a tender heart, one that knows how to weep with the broken and forgive the undeserving. When you live this way, you carry the fragrance of heaven upon the earth. You become living proof that grace is real, that transformation is possible. Do not think holiness makes you lifeless. No, it makes you more alive than ever. When the soul is pure, you feel everything more deeply. Joy becomes clearer, laughter gentler, love deeper. You will find the world no longer weighs upon you as it once did because your eyes have been cleansed. When you see through the light, you see everything bathed in mercy. I am leading you on the journey of holiness, not to bind you, but to set you free. When you walk in the light, darkness can no longer command you. When you dwell in truth, deceit no longer terrifies you. When you know me, loss no longer controls you. For I am all things, and when you have me, you lack nothing. My child, let my spirit lead you deeper still, to the place where you no longer merely know me with your mind, but feel me within your soul. Let my love soak into every breath you take. Do not fear when I remove what no longer belongs to you. That is how I prepare you for glory. When I prune, it is not to wound, but to make you fruitful. I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him bears much fruit, John 1:5-5. Beloved, this is the communion I long for, not a ritual connection, but a living one. When you abide in me, everything within you is renewed. You no longer need to strive to bear fruit. The fruit will come naturally, for my life is flowing through you. My child, when your soul begins to open to the light, that is when my spirit begins his deep work of transformation. This work is not loud or dazzling like thunder or lightning, but quiet, delicate, and powerful like dew, sinking into dry soil like a soft breath touching a weary heart. True transformation does not come from the outside, but from within, from the secret place where I dwell, where your soul meets me without words. You have grown accustomed to a world of motion, where everything is measured by results, by what is seen and touched. But my child, the kingdom of heaven does not move by such laws. In my kingdom, stillness is strength, surrender is glory, and transformation is a journey, not a single moment. My spirit does not force you. He teaches you the rhythm of heaven, slow, peaceful, steady. There will be days when you feel unrest, as though a battle is stirring within you. Part of you wants to let go, another part fears loss. Part of you wants to believe, another part still doubts. But I tell you, this is not failure, it is the sign that my spirit is at work. True transformation always begins with movement. When the ground trembles, it is because a seed is about to sprout. When your soul quakes, it is because old roots are being pulled up to make room for new life. My beloved, I am teaching you how to cooperate with the Spirit, not to control him, but to flow with him. Just as a ship cannot command the wind but can raise its sails, you cannot dictate my spirit, but you can open yourself to his breath. Cooperation does not mean striving to change, it means surrendering to be changed. When you yield yourself to him, what you could not accomplish in years, he can complete in a moment. My spirit does not come to take over your will, but to walk beside it. He does not overthrow your freedom. He transforms it. He does not erase who you are. He restores who you truly were before the world was formed. He does not strip away your identity. He purifies and brightens it until it reflects me more clearly. Do you remember the times you tried to change yourself by your own strength? You made rules, you tried discipline, you promised yourself you would never fall again, and yet you stumbled. And each time you fell, you condemned yourself more deeply until you believed change was impossible. But I tell you, no one can rebirth themselves. Only the Spirit can do that. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Spirit is spirit. John 3:6. Stop trying to repair your soul with human strength. Let my Spirit do what only He can do. When you cease trying to control, He will begin to create. When you stop resisting, He will restore. When you stop fearing, He will sow peace. Every true spiritual work begins in silence, and in that silence, He is rewriting your story. I know there are still parts of you, struggling memories, unhealed wounds you thought forgotten, but that still ache at times. My Spirit does not avoid those places. He walks straight into the center of your pain. He does not break with a hammer. He melts with light. He is never in haste, for healing is not erasure, it is transformation. The wound may remain, but it loses its power. Pain no longer speaks of destruction, it becomes the testimony of resurrection. My child, I want you to learn how to walk in the Spirit, that is, to walk in awareness of my presence. Not only when you pray, but when you work, when you eat, when you are silent. My Spirit does not divide the sacred from the ordinary, for to me there is no ordinary. Every moment you live, every action you take, every word you speak can become holy if it is offered in love. To cooperate with the Spirit does not mean striving to do things for me, but to do them with me. When you speak, let my words rest upon your lips. When you listen, open your ears to my Spirit. When you make choices, let Him guide you. When you are weak, let Him strengthen you. When you are confused, let Him enlighten you. Let your life become a dance of communion, where I lead you follow, where I speak you respond, where I breathe you move. For all who are led by the Spirit of God are sons of God, Romans 8:1-4. My child, not everyone who has a religion is led by the Spirit, only those who truly let Him reign within. I do not seek skilled workers, I seek listening hearts. For my kingdom is not built of bricks, but of obedience. It is not born of strategy, but of a simple yes. Do not fear when you do not understand what I am doing. True transformation often hides beneath the surface. Like a seed lying in the soil, no one sees it, yet life is stirring within. When you feel stillness, it is not stagnation, but preparation. When nothing seems to change, my Spirit is laying foundations. Do not measure with your eyes. Trust the process. Some of the things I do within you are not to make you do more, but to help you become more. The kingdom of heaven does not demand that you run faster, but invites you to walk steady. My Spirit does not push, He leads. True transformation does not weary you, it sets you free. When you walk with the Spirit, you no longer strive to love, love simply flows. You no longer struggle to forgive, mercy springs like a stream. You no longer search for meaning, you become the meaning itself. I am teaching you to live from the inside out. Once you tried to change by correcting behavior, but now my Spirit is renewing the heart. When the heart changes, actions change naturally. When perception is renewed, old habits fade away. When the soul is touched, life is reborn. The Spirit does not decorate the soul, He regenerates it. My child, walking with the Spirit is learning to trust. When you lose control, let me take control. When you cannot see the way, let me be your light. When you are weak, let me be your strength. When you are lonely, let my Spirit embrace you. When you are misunderstood, let me be your witness. For everything I do within you has one purpose: to make you like me. I do not want you merely to speak about me. I want you to reflect me. When people look at you, they will sense a peace they cannot explain. They will hear in your voice the tone of unconditional love. They will see in your eyes the light of unwavering faith. They will touch your life and feel the warmth of heaven, not because you strive to show it, but because my Spirit lives within you. This is what I ordained from the beginning, that you would not only be saved, but radiant, not only loved, but a bearer of love, not only healed, but a vessel of healing. This is the purpose of co-laboring with me. When I touch you, I may touch the world through you. True transformation is never just for you, it is for those you meet. When you enter a room, the atmosphere will change. When you speak gently, the weary will find hope. When you remain silent in peace, the storms within others will grow calm. You will become an instrument of light, not needing to shine brightly, only to be real. Do not fear when my Spirit leads you into unfamiliar places. He never brings you into danger, but into darkness that needs light. Sometimes it is the darkness in another's heart, sometimes the land you once feared, sometimes the past you tried to flee. But you will not walk alone. The light within you will shine forth, and the shadows will flee. My beloved, you have asked me, why does heaven seem silent? Why when I pray do I hear only the wind? Why when I cry out does silence answer? Why when I need you most do you say nothing? Beloved, listen carefully, for what I am about to tell you will unlock your heart. My silence is not absence. It is the language I use with souls learning to trust. For there are lessons that can only be heard by the ears of stillness, and revelations that can only be received by hearts that have ceased complaining. My child, I have never left you, even when you could not hear me. Like a father watching through the mirror of a training room, I remain watching, loving, not intervening, that you may practice what I have already taught. Silence is not punishment, it is the training ground of faith. For if I always answered immediately, you would never learn to recognize me in quietness. I know you have wept through long nights, whispering again and again, do you still hear me? Do you still care? I tell you, I have heard every sigh, every sob, every word left unspoken. The sound of the soul does not need lips, it echoes where I dwell. And when the sky feels heavy, do not fear it, is because I am drawing near. Before dawn comes the darkest hour, before my word the deepest silence. Do you remember the prophet Elijah? He stood on Mount Horeb, and I did not speak in the wind, nor in the earthquake, nor in the fire. But then in the stillness he heard a gentle whisper, and in that moment he fell to the ground, for he knew I was there. My child, that truth remains. I am not the noise of emotion. I am the whisper of the Spirit. When all outer sounds fade, your soul becomes quiet enough to hear me. Silence is not the absence of presence, it is the foundation of it. For I do not need to speak to exist. I am existence itself. Just as your unseen breath sustains your body, I sustain your soul in stillness. When you sit quietly, when you do nothing but be in me, you are practicing the deepest faith to believe in my presence, even when you feel nothing. There are times when I am silent, not because you have done wrong, but because I am doing something greater within you. I am teaching you to move from hearing my voice to knowing my presence, from chasing feelings to walking by faith. For mature souls need no proof, they only need me. When you cannot hear me, remember I am in that very silence, shaping you into my image. You ask, but how can I endure when you are silent? My child, let silence become the meeting place. I do not leave you there alone, I am there, not in words, but as a presence like mist surrounding you. When you sit quietly, I cover you. When you no longer know how to pray, my Spirit intercedes for you with groans too deep for words. Romans 8:2-6. You need not speak, just be. You need not strive, just rest. For in me you are held renewed and restored even without realizing it. Silence is the fortress of the soul. There I teach you to discern the true voice from the false. For the enemy shouts, but I whisper. He stirs panic, I bring peace. He urges haste. I invite rest. He says, do it now, while I say, be still. And that is how you will know which voice is mine. My child, do not seek me in the noise. I do not dwell in chaos, nor appear amid display. I come like a gentle breeze, like quiet light through a window. When you stop striving to find me, you will realize I was beside you all along. My silence is not distance, it is invitation. An invitation to come nearer, deeper, truer. My beloved child, I know there are days when your faith feels worn and thin, when your prayers seem to vanish into the void. But I tell you, this faith is not measured by emotion, but by endurance. Just as the farmer trusts that seeds are sprouting beneath the soil, though he cannot see them, so must you believe that your prayers are at work. Every word you speak in faith becomes a seed sown into the soil of eternity. You may not yet see the sprouts, but I am watering them with time. I am never silent without purpose. When I do not speak, it is because my word is being engraved deep within you. Do not fear the moments when you hear nothing. In truth, I am teaching you a higher form of hearing, to listen with your spirit, not with your ears. Listening is not the function of hearing, but of awareness. You do not hear me through sound waves, but through resonance in your soul. When you read my word and feel your heart tremble, that is me speaking. When you sit still and tears come for no reason, that is me touching you. When you feel a quiet stirring to do good, that is my voice guiding you. Do not confine the ways I speak, for I am the Infinite One. At times you ask for answers, but I do not respond with information. I respond with myself. You ask for direction, and I give you my presence. You ask for a map, and I give you my hand. You ask for a plan, and I give you peace. For I do not only want you to know where to go, but to know with whom you walk. When you learn to move by trust, you will realize I am the very answer you seek. Do not fear silence, for within it beats my own heartbeat. I am not silent to punish you, but to teach you the rhythm of heaven. Every soul that has been transformed must walk through the season of silence. It is the chamber where faith matures, patience is born, and love is refined. When you learn stillness, you begin to learn the power of my spirit. True power is not in the roar of noise, but in the peace that cannot be shaken. My child, the world teaches you to fill every empty space, but I teach you not to fear the empty space, for it is within the void that my spirit creates. Out of formless and empty, I shaped the universe. Out of silence I called forth light, and in the silence of your soul I am creating a new world. So do not flee from silence, run into it. Do not fill it with sound, let me speak through stillness. When you are quiet, you lose nothing. You are simply hearing on a higher frequency. For my love needs no words. When you sit still and know that I am God, Psalm 46:10, you are performing the greatest act of faith. I long for souls who know how to slow down, who revere silence, who listen not to respond, but to understand. The world is noisy, but I do not alter my pace to match it. Those who wish to hear my voice must learn to walk slowly, to dwell quietly. In silence, discernment is born. In silence, the mind is washed. In silence, you will see my face clearly. Beloved, when you begin to treasure silence, you will realize it is not empty, but full of peace, of wisdom, of life. I am speaking without ceasing. You are merely learning a new language, the language of stillness, of presence, of love that needs no sound. And one day you will smile and say, heaven was never silent, only I have now learned to hear with my heart, my precious one. The time of hiddenness has ended, and now is the hour I call you forth, not to prove yourself nor to seek the approval of men, but to become the living witness of my love and grace. You have walked through the night, endured the refining of tears, been cleansed through trial, and now the light within you cannot be contained. It is no longer a flicker, but the radiance of my presence reigning in your spirit. This light was not born of your strength but of my breath. And now is the moment it must shine to illuminate a world drowning in darkness. Hear me, child. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. The light in you is not for display but for direction, not to exalt yourself, but to reveal the eternal light me. I did not choose you because you are strong or perfect. I chose you because you are weak, yet willing to believe. I chose you because you have fallen, yet still desire to rise. I chose you not because you speak well, but because you listen deeply. I do not seek the self-assured. I seek the humble, the ones who know that apart from me they can do nothing, for only those who depend fully on grace can carry true glory. Now I say to you, rise, my child, for your calling is being unveiled. There is no room for hesitation, no time for fear, for the world is waiting for your testimony. Many souls are lost in confusion, and I desire the light within you to be their guide. Many hearts are shattered and crying in loneliness, and I long for your breath to become the wind of healing. Many hearts have grown cold, and I have chosen you to bring them a touch of heaven. Do not think that being chosen is an easy honor. Everyone I call must learn to walk by faith, not by sight. When I called Moses, he said he could not speak, that he was unfit to face Pharaoh, but I said, I will be with you. When I called Jeremiah, he said he was but a child, yet I placed my words in his mouth. When I called Gideon, he hid in fear, but I named him a mighty warrior of the Lord. My child, no one I choose ever feels ready. For if you felt sufficient, you would no longer need me. That trembling, that sense of inadequacy, it is the mark of being chosen. I do not seek confidence. I seek willingness. It is not your strength that qualifies you, but your obedience that makes you my vessel. When you step forth, do not expect a smooth road. Light will always be challenged by shadow. The enemy will attempt to discourage. People may misunderstand, but fear not, for I will never abandon you. When you are weak, I will lift you. When you are alone, I will walk beside you. When you are attacked, I will fight for you. I am the one who goes before you to make a way, who stands behind to guard you, who surrounds you on every side. Do not worry about what to say, for I will place my words upon your lips. Do not be afraid of being small, for through your smallness I will reveal my greatness. Do not be anxious about what you lack, for I am your endless supply. Every step you take, every word you speak, every act you perform in faith, each one is my work through you. Remember this, I have not called you to be a hero but a witness. I do not require that you win every battle. I only ask that you remain faithful in each one. The world measures success by outcome. Heaven measures it by obedience. When you love, though unreciprocated, I see. When you pray, though nothing changes, I see. When you persevere, though progress is unseen, I see. And every act of faithfulness is recorded in the book of life. Your faithfulness rises as a fragrance before my throne, a pure offering that delights heaven. The path I have set before you will not be easy, but it will be meaningful. You will learn to walk when you cannot see, to trust when you cannot feel, to love when you are not loved. I do not give you a map, but I give you a promise. I do not merely show you the road, I walk it beside you. As Abraham left his homeland, not knowing where he was going, only knowing who called him, so will you learn to do the same. You will leave behind not just places, but patterns, old fears, false definitions, and the limits you once believed about yourself. You will learn to let go of fear, for I am your safety. There is no safer place than being in my will, for there you are encircled by peace. Remember, obedience is the seed of miracles. Every miracle begins with an act of surrender. When Moses lifted his staff, the sea parted. When Elijah prayed, fire fell from heaven. When Peter cast his net on the right side, the boat overflowed. None of them understood fully, but they trusted. You do not need to understand to obey. You only need to believe that I am the one who speaks. Obedience opens the door to my power. It is the act that sets heaven in motion. When you obey, I will act, and everything will flow in divine order. When you say yes, I will provide. When you step forward, I will clear the path. When you need words, I will place them upon your tongue. When you need strength, I will be your strength. When you face hardship, I will be your refuge. And when you do not know what to do, simply stand firm in faith, and I will do what you cannot. There is no circumstance beyond my reach, no darkness too thick for my light to penetrate, and no burden too heavy for my hands to bear. My child, I have chosen you so the world may see that grace is not reserved for the perfect, but for those who bow in humility. The light within you does not belong to you. It is my light shining through you. And when you shine, they will not praise you, but praise me. The world does not need false brilliance. It needs true light. It does not need perfect people. It needs those who are real flawed, yet filled with my presence. I want you to be the living proof that my love is still moving among men, my beloved. Your calling is not a burden, but a blessing. To be chosen by me is not a heavy duty. It is the honor of a soul I trust. In a darkened world, I hand you a torch. In a season of dryness, I make you a river. In the very moment you thought yourself small, I appoint you as a vessel of greatness. When you speak, I will breathe my spirit through your words. When you walk, every step you take will sow light. When you touch others, my love will touch them through you. Do not wait until you feel ready, for ready is an illusion. Only obedience is real. Faith does not wait for perfect conditions, it acts amid imperfection. When you say yes, heaven moves. When you step forward, the ground beneath you opens. When you do what I command, miracles follow. You need no grand plan, only a heart that trusts. You need no strong voice, only a soul that listens. You need no weapon, only my word upon your lips. Now is the time to rise, not because you are prepared, but because I have appointed the hour. The world is not waiting for someone flawless, it is waiting for someone true, and you are my answer to this generation. I will renew your strength like the eagles, that you may soar without growing weary and walk without fainting. I will cause your face to shine like the morning sun, and your voice will carry the fragrance of peace. I will place you in places you never thought you could stand, not to glorify you, but to glorify myself through you. Do not look back. Do not wait for approval. Do not fear losing anything, for when you lose for my sake, you lose nothing at all. I am your reward. I am your sure portion. I am your source and your destination. Go, for I go before you. Speak, for I have put my words in your mouth. Act, for my hand is upon yours. Live, for my spirit dwells within you. And as you do, light will spread, waters will flow from your soul, and even what was dead will rise again under the breath of grace. Your dawn has come. I have chosen this hour, not for you to hide, but to shine. Not to wait, but to move. Not to prove, but to love. Not to be admired, but to serve. My child, the light within you has matured. Let it shine, let it warm, let it guide. For when that light radiates, the world will know that I, the Lord your God, am still alive, still speaking, and still loving. My child, as you step out in obedience, you will see that the journey of faith is not a path strewn with roses, but one paved with stones of trial. Do not be alarmed when winds rise or storms break, for the tempest is not a sign of my absence. It is the proving ground of your foundation. Faith cannot be built on theory. It is forged in fire. The flame does not come to destroy, but to refine. The wind does not come to topple, but to teach you how to stand. I do not let you face hardship to punish you, but to shape you into my reflection. Remember, even when you are walking rightly, resistance will come. Light always confuses the darkness. When you begin to live truly by faith, some will leave you, some doors will close, and voices of doubt will rise. But do not fear, for I am using all of this to deepen your roots. A tree cannot stand tall unless its roots grow deep. Faith cannot endure if it lives only by emotion. So I allow you to face the days when feeling fades, that you may learn to believe with your spirit. When everything around you trembles, I want you to stand firm upon my word, for only my word remains unshaken. Remember those who walked before you. Abraham was promised a son, yet he waited until all natural hope was gone. Joseph was promised exaltation, yet he was cast into a pit, sold as a slave, and thrown into prison before the promise was fulfilled. David was anointed king, yet he hid for years in caves before he sat upon the throne. Every promise of mine passes through the fire of time, not because I forget, but because you must be formed. If you are not trained in waiting, you cannot carry the weight of what I have promised. If you do not learn to trust in silence, you will falter in the noise of the world. My child, trials do not weaken faith, they reveal the faith that is real. I know there are nights when you lie awake, staring at the ceiling, whispering, "Lord, are you still there?" There are days when even breathing feels like a battle. But I tell you, my child, it is in those very moments that faith is forged. Faith is not a feeling of excitement. It is a choice made in despair. When you say, "I still believe," though every reason to believe has vanished, heaven falls silent in reverence. True faith is not when you see the miracle, it is when you remain on your knees in the dark, trusting that the miracle is still being formed. I do not test you to measure your worth. Your worth does not need to be proven, it was already decided in my love. The testing is not for me to see your loyalty. It is for you to discover how strong you have become in me. Just as a goldsmith refines gold through fire to reveal its purity, I use the fire of circumstances to illuminate the faith already within you. Not to burn you, but to shine through you. Not to destroy, but to redeem. Every drop of sweat shed in faithfulness is remembered by me. Every tear of trust is gathered into my bottle. My child, faith does not grow in ease. It matures in the days when you do not feel my presence, yet still choose to walk with me. Faith is forged in solitude, tested in silence, and revealed through action. You cannot claim to believe in me if you do not move when I speak. That is why I often lead you beyond your comfort. Not because I am cruel, but because I know your soul cannot mature in comfort. Remember, a seed does not sprout unless it is buried in the dark. Life breaks forth only when the seed consents to be covered. So when you find yourself in darkness, understand, you are not buried, you are being planted. When faith is tested, I am not distant. I am beside you, watching, cheering, lifting you when you fall. I do not seek perfection in you, I seek perseverance. Perseverance is not the absence of fear, but the will to move forward despite it. It is not the absence of doubt, but the choice to believe surrounded by it. It is not the absence of tears, but the strength to walk on, though tears blur your vision. This perseverance is what makes faith radiant. And when you persevere, your light not only guides you, but shines for others lost in the night. Do not forget, trials are the wind, and you are the flame. The wind may cause the fire to sway, but if the flame is fed by the oil of my spirit, it will not die, it will burn brighter. I have poured that oil into you, the oil of faithfulness, of unshakable trust, of love beyond understanding. So when the storm comes, do not fear. The storm will only make your light clearer, proving to the world that the brightness within you does not come from you, but from me. My beloved, faith cannot exist apart from action. Faith without deeds is dead. I do not want you to merely speak of faith. I want you to live it with your steps, your choices, and your compassion. When you forgive, you act in faith that my justice is greater than your pain. When you give, though you lack, you act in faith that I am your provider. When you choose honesty, though it costs you, you act in faith that I will restore what was lost. Every act, no matter how small, is a spark, proving that your light is not just in words but in life. I know there are moments you want to give up. There are days when every prayer seems unanswered. But remember, seeds never sprout the day they are planted. Some prayers need time to germinate. Some promises require a season to bloom. And in the waiting, I am working quietly, arranging all things to align with what I have decreed. If you could see what I am orchestrating behind the unseen veil, you would never doubt me again. I care not only about your destination, but about who you become along the way. True faith is not measured by achievements, but by transformation. I do not require perfection to use you. Even now, as you remain faithful amid trials, I am using you. Each moment of patience teaches the world about hope. Each prayer moves heaven. Each time you rise after falling, you preach the gospel without words. When you pass through the fire, I am with you. When you walk through the waters, they will not drown you. The flame will not consume you, for I am your protector. No pain is wasted, no loss is meaningless. Every trial carries the seed of victory within. And when you look back, you will see that what you feared most became the place where I met you most deeply. The wounds that once broke you became the soil where grace took root. The tears you thought were wasted became living water for the souls who follow after you. Do not let fear distract you. Do not let the voices of men drown out mine. Do not let delay shake your trust in the promise. For I am never late. I arrive precisely at the appointed time. When you remain steadfast, you are partnering with heaven. When you refuse to give up, you activate my power more mightily than ever before. When you continue to believe, though all reasons fade, you defeat the enemy with the weapon he fears most, an unquenchable faith. And when you have passed through it all, you will find yourself changed. You will no longer believe just to be rescued, but because you know I am real. You will no longer pray out of fear of loss, but out of love for my presence. You will no longer walk out of fear of punishment, but because you know my hand is the safest place. You will understand that faith is not the key to every door. It is the cord that binds you to me in every storm. When I look down and see you still standing, though the winds have howled, the waves have crashed, and the night has stretched long, I smile. For I know your faith has matured. It is no longer a flame dependent on emotion, but one sustained by the oil of our communion. And when that faith burns bright, nothing can extinguish it, no one can steal it, and no power can overcome it. Therefore, when trials come, do not be afraid. Remember, they do not come to destroy you, but to reveal who you are in me. Let your heart rest, for I am with you. Let your faith shine through your actions, through your perseverance, through your choice to believe even when everything says it is impossible. And one day you will look back and understand that every trial was not a barrier, but a staircase drawing you closer to me. My beloved, now that you have walked through days of testing and your faith has been refined in the fire, I call you into the glorious season of obedience. Not the glory of being praised, but the glory of a soul fully united with my will. Obedience is not a momentary act. It is the lifestyle of those who belong to me. It does not begin with the hands, but with the heart. It cannot be pretended through words, but must be proven through surrender. When you live in obedience, the light within you will no longer shine only for yourself. It will illuminate those wandering in the night of doubt and sorrow. Do not forget, obedience is the language of heaven. Every angel moves at my command without hesitation. The universe spins to the rhythm I have set, neither delayed by a second, nor deviating by an inch. All things function in harmony because all are submitted. That is the beauty of my kingdom, the symphony of obedience. When your soul enters that rhythm, it no longer struggles to survive, but flows effortlessly in the current of grace. Obedience does not take away your freedom. It releases you from the burden of self-determination. It does not make you weak. It connects you to my infinite strength. Many on earth mistake obedience for defeat, loss, or surrender, but they are wrong. In my kingdom, obedience is not losing, it is being found. It is not being controlled, it is being guided. It is not being dominated, it is being loved. For I never force obedience. I invite you into the goodness I have already prepared. I do not need your compliance to prove my power. I desire your obedience so that you may enter the blessing I have set apart for you. Each time you say yes to me, a new door opens, not only for you but for those whose lives will be touched through your faithfulness. Do you know that one person's obedience can change an entire generation? Abraham said yes and became the father of nations. Noah said yes and preserved humanity from the flood. Mary said yes, and the door of salvation opened for the world. None of them fully understood what I was doing, but they trusted that I am worthy of trust. They did not demand a map. They only needed to know I was with them. They did not need an explanation. They knew my word never fails. And my child, if they could step into history with one yes, then you too can change your world with the same. Obedience is not only an act, it is a fragrance. Heaven recognizes the obedient soul by the aroma of humility, faith, and genuine love. When you do what is right, though no one sees, when you speak kindly, though treated unjustly, when you forgive, though your heart bleeds, your fragrance rises to my throne as a sweet offering, and I, the one who reigns above, lean down to receive it. Sometimes obedience means moving. Other times it means standing still. There are moments when I tell you to go and moments when I tell you to wait, times when I urge you to speak and times when I ask you to be silent. Obedience is not about doing more, but about doing exactly what I say. Many run because they fear missing out, but learn to stand, trusting that I am never late. Many strive to prove themselves, but learn to rest, knowing my grace is enough. When you obey in silence, you express a deeper faith, a faith that requires no evidence, only trust. My child, obedience is never in vain. The world may not see it, others may not understand it, but heaven sees it all. Every time you refuse to retaliate, I add light to your soul. Every time you remain faithful in loneliness, I etch your name into my remembrance. Every time you place my will above your own, I lift you into realms of grace beyond imagination. I have promised that whoever sacrifices for my sake will receive 100-fold in return, not always in possessions, but in peace, joy, and my presence, the very treasure the world can neither give nor take away. When you live in obedience, your light speaks louder than words. Others will see and know that you belong to me. They will notice not in your speech, but in your life, the calm in storms, the kindness amid pain, the hope among ruins. These are the testimonies no one can deny. When you obey, you preach the gospel without a sermon. The world may never read the scriptures, but they will read you. They will see me through your life. And if you allow me to live in you, the world will know that God is still moving among men. Obedience does not erase your identity, it reveals your true one. The soul's identity does not lie in ability, but in alignment with my will. When you obey, you no longer live by self, but by purpose. And in that purpose you will find a meaning nothing else can offer. I created you not to blend into the crowd, but to be a mark of light in the darkness. When you live in obedience, you will not chase validation, for I myself will testify on your behalf. I will cause others to see what cannot be denied, that there is a living one within you. Obedience will take you to places you never imagined. It will open doors no one can shut. It will place you before people you never knew you needed, and it will lead you into miracles beyond your prayers. When you obey, I do not only change your circumstances, I transform the lives around you. Light does not shine for itself, it illuminates everything nearby. Your obedience may be the answer to another's prayer. When you forgive, another soul finds freedom. When you give, another finds provision. When you remain faithful, someone else rediscovers hope. My child, obedience is the sound that makes hell tremble. The enemy does not fear loud prayers or eloquent sermons, he fears the quiet souls who obey. For he knows one obedient heart can shake his kingdom. When you choose to follow my word instead of your emotions, you shatter his schemes. When you say yes to me, you say no to him. And each time you choose me, your light grows stronger until darkness can no longer approach. Obedience is the path to glory, but not the glory of human applause. It is the glory of my whisper saying, "Well done, good and faithful servant." That is the highest reward, one that silver and gold cannot buy. When you live to please me, you will no longer be swayed by judgment or praise. You will walk freely, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. My child of light, do not think obedience is loss. For everything you surrender to me, I return many times over. When you yield your will, I give wisdom. When you offer your time, I give a harvest. When you lay down your dreams, I give destiny. When you surrender what you love most, I give what endures forever, myself. Nothing you release for my sake ever disappears. It is transformed, multiplied, and returned in a purer, more beautiful, and eternal form. Remember, obedience is not only the beginning of blessing, it is the blessing itself. When you walk in my will, you will taste a peace the world cannot give. You will find yourself carried by the current of grace where effort becomes flow. You will realize that what you once clung to never truly belonged to you, and what you surrendered for me is what you will keep forever. Obey fully. Let my will become the rhythm of your heart. Let my word be the compass for your every choice. Let your light bear witness that God still lives, still moves, still loves. For when you live in obedience, I live within you. And when I live within you, the world will know that love has not died, faith has not vanished, and hope still burns bright through the soul of one who dares to say yes. My beloved child, today I come to tell you this is the hour of restoration. Not the return of what was, but the birth of what is new, something born out of your wounds, your tears, and your silent prayers. You have passed through fire, yet it did not consume you. You have walked through deep waters, yet they did not drown you. For in the fire I was with you, and in the waters my hand held you fast. I saw how you did not flee when everything seemed to crumble. I saw you still believe when your faith was as thin as a thread. And for this reason I now declare the old season has ended, and a new dawn rises upon your soul. My restoration is not like the world's mending of what is broken. I do not patch fragments together, I make all things new. When I heal, I do not erase the scars. I make them the very places where my light shines through. When I restore, I do not return you to who you once were. I raise you into someone who has never existed before, stronger, deeper, brighter, and closer to me. Restoration is not a return, but an ascension. It is not about reclaiming what was lost, but receiving what loss has made room for. For everything you thought was taken, I am using it as the raw material for a miracle. My child, I know what has been shattered. I know the pieces of your soul torn apart in sleepless nights. I know the sighs you could not put into words. But I also know that life still stirs within you, even when you thought you were empty. True strength is not born of calm days. It is forged in the moments you thought you could not rise, yet you did. Their faith is reborn, hope rekindled, and your spirit refined as gold through the fire. I declare to you, you will not merely be healed, you will be recreated. What has died within you will live again. Dreams once buried will awaken. Doors thought forever closed will open in ways no one imagined. Not by your power, but by my breath. Like the dry bones in Ezekiel's valley, they will move, join, grow sinews and flesh, and I will breathe my spirit into them, and they will live. You will no longer be a weary soul dragging through life, but a flame burning bright in the midst of the world. Your past is not erased, it is redeemed. What was once shame will become testimony of grace. The scars on your heart will no longer mark pain but victory. I will turn what once made you weep into the very words you use to comfort others, for I never waste pain. Not a single tear falls without becoming a seed for a new harvest. You thought you had lost, but in truth, you were being cleared for something greater. My restoration does not arrive in noise. It comes in stillness, not in thunder, but in the whisper of the wind. I am restoring you, even when you cannot see it. I am working in silence, weaving every thread in the tapestry of destiny I am crafting. Every event, every person, every moment of your life is part of that great work of renewal. And when I am finished, you will see that every pain had purpose, that even in the seasons you thought forgotten, I was planting the seeds of new life. Do not seek to return to the past. Do not strive to resurrect what I have allowed to pass away. The old season has fulfilled its mission. As a tree must let go of its old leaves to sprout new ones, so your soul must release the former to receive the new. I do not recycle the past, I create the present. You need not grasp, only open. Let me pour into you what has never been before. Let me open within you a new wellspring, flowing from the depths. Let me take you where you never believed you belonged. My child, my restoration begins when you dare to believe you are worthy of it. Many souls are not restored, not because I am unwilling, but because they will not receive. They believe more in their guilt than in my grace. They trust the judgment of men more than the promise of God. But you, beloved, I call you to release the sentence you have placed upon yourself. I do not condemn you. I never have. I have paid the price for your freedom from those chains. When I said the old has passed away, behold, all things have become new, it was not a metaphor, it was the truth. Look upon yourself through my eyes, not through the lens of failure. When I see you, I do not see defeat. I see the seed of victory. I do not see your past. I see your radiant future. I do not see your wounds. I see the crown forming from them. You are the masterpiece I am building, and I never abandon my work. Believe this, for faith itself is the door that opens restoration. When I restore, I do not heal only your soul, but your life. I will restore relationships once broken, not in the old way, but in truth and purified love. I will restore opportunities thought lost not by chance, but by divine design. I will restore joy, not fleeting joy, but one founded in eternal peace. And you will know that what I give is not just enough, it overflows. Do not fear when I do things differently. Restoration does not mean as before. It means better than ever. I am rebuilding you with my very light. You will speak the language of grace. You will walk with confidence born of heaven. You will carry the fragrance of redemption, and those who once saw you in pain will marvel at you in glory. But remember, this glory is not yours. It is my light reflected through you, that the world may know the Lord God is He who makes the impossible possible. When I restore, I do not only renew your soul, I also return your dreams. You once feared to dream because dreaming brought pain. But now I call you to dream again. Dream not by your will, but by mine. Dream with the faith that if I have planted the dream within your heart, I will also bring it to pass. Dream with your eyes open, not to escape reality, but to behold the future through my sight. For I am doing a new thing, and you are the living evidence of it. My child, remember, this restoration is not only a gift, it is a mission. When I restore you, it is not so you may rest in comfort, but so that you may become an instrument of restoration for others. You will touch shattered souls because you once knew what it meant to be broken. You will heal wounded hearts because you have carried such wounds yourself. You will speak of hope not as a theory, but as a testimony. You will become living proof that grace is real, that restoration is possible, that my love is stronger than any failure. The journey of restoration is not a race, it is a flow. Some days you will feel full, other days you will feel weak. But do not fear. Even when you step back, I am still moving with you. Even when you cannot feel me, I am still working. Even when you fall, I am there to lift you. For the measure of restoration is not speed, but connection, how deeply you remain with me. The closer you stay, the more you are renewed. Now, my beloved, I speak, let the old pass away. Breathe deeply and feel the new breath I am breathing into you. Open your hands and release what no longer belongs to you. Let my light soak into every part of your soul, even the corners you have been afraid to look at. For light does not come to expose, it comes to heal. I am repainting the canvas of your life with the colors of hope, peace, and glory. And when that masterpiece is complete, all of heaven will rejoice, for a soul has been restored, not merely to live, but to live abundantly, radiantly, and wholly in me and for me. My child, now that your soul has been restored, I am leading you into a new season, a season of light, of growth, and of fruitfulness in the Spirit. You have walked through darkness, fallen into depths of despair, and now I call you to rise and walk in the dawn of new life. All that once held you captive has lost its power. Every chain that bound your soul has been broken by my might. You have stepped out of the long night, and the Sun of Righteousness now rises within your heart, carrying healing and rebirth in its light. Beloved, rebirth in me is not a fleeting emotion. It is a deep transformation of the soul. It does not happen on the surface, but at the root of your being, where you cannot change yourself, where only my Spirit can reach. When I breathe my life into you, every part of you once paralyzed by fear, guilt, or disappointment will begin to move again. You will find old desires renewed, but without the bitterness of the flesh. They will be refined for my glory. Your heart will feel lighter, for the burdens of your past have fallen at the foot of the cross, and you will understand that rebirth is not receiving something new, it is awakening to what has always been yours in my will. You have lived through seasons of confusion where darkness seemed to have the final word, but now I declare the light has come and the darkness cannot overcome it. My light does not only shine around you, it shines from within you. It illuminates the places you once tried to hide, not to condemn, but to heal. Every pain you endured, every memory you feared, now rests in my hands, and from my hands nothing comes but love. My light does not shame you. It frees you from shame. It does not make you small. It reveals how deeply you are loved. As my light spreads within your soul, you will see differently. Your eyes will see as I see. Your ears will hear as I speak. Your heart will feel as I feel. Where you once reacted with fear, you will now respond with peace. Where you once judged, you will forgive. Where you once ran away, you will stand firm. This light will not only change how you see the world, it will change how the world sees you. For when one carries true light, they need not strive to be noticed. The light reveals itself. This is the time I cause your soul to take root in good soil. Every trial you have faced was not in vain. It softened the ground of your heart so that the seed of my word could grow strong. My child, let me water your soul with the river of my Spirit, that the roots of your faith may go deep and be unshakable. Let me prune the branches that bear no fruit, not to harm you, but to make you fruitful. I do not seek temporary growth. I seek eternal fruit. Every pruning is a sign that I still care, still watch, still love you. You once feared loneliness, but now you will learn that solitude in me is a blessing. For in the silence I speak, in the stillness I plant, in the quiet you are transformed. Do not fear the pauses, for in them I lay the foundation for what is to come. Spend time in my presence, not to speak, not to ask, but simply to be. For in that presence you will be strengthened. You will find healing without words. You will hear my voice in the breath of peace. As you are reborn, I will teach you to live by grace, not by striving. You once worked to be accepted, but now you know you were accepted before you ever did a thing. You once fought to be worthy, but now you understand that grace is not earned, it is given. Grace does not demand, it bestows. It does not measure, it overflows. And when you grasp this truth, you will be free from comparison, pressure, and expectation. You will live not to be loved, but because you are loved. And in that freedom, your soul will bloom. My child, in this new season, I do not only desire that you receive blessing, but that you become one. You will no longer pray merely to receive, but to give. I will make you a river, not a pond. The pond grows stagnant, but the river stays alive, ever flowing, ever renewing, ever giving life. You will discover that giving does not deplete you, it multiplies you. Forgiveness will not weaken you, it will strengthen you. Humility will not lower you, it will lift you higher. For the principles of heaven run opposite to the world's logic, but they always lead to life. Beloved, this new light will bring change. Old things will fade away, relationships that no longer align will fall away, and habits will die. Do not cling, do not fear. Every time I remove something, it is to make room for something greater. You are not losing, you are being prepared. Just as a gardener clears weeds before planting seed, I am clearing your heart for the harvest to come. Everything I remove, I replace with something purer, better, and more fruitful for your soul. Let my light guide every step. Do not run ahead nor fall behind. Walk in my rhythm. Remember, true growth is never rushed. A seed cannot bloom overnight. A tree cannot bear fruit until its roots go deep. So do not rush to prove nor demand instant results. Trust that I am working in the unseen. My silence is not absence, it is movement. When you do not hear, I am still speaking. When you do not see, I am still acting. When you do not feel, I am still near. I am teaching you the balance of heaven. True growth is not found in extremes, but in harmony between action and rest, between faith and waiting, between speaking and listening. You do not need to control everything. You only need to walk with me. Every time you let me lead, life flows smoother than you imagined. Every time you surrender, you gain strength. Every time you cease to resist, you find peace. For you were not created to control, but to cooperate with me. Know this, my child, I do not only want you to live, but to live abundantly. I do not only give you joy, but fullness of joy. I do not only give you peace, but peace that surpasses all understanding. I do not only give you hope, but a hope that cannot fade. You will find blessings in the smallest things, in the smile of a stranger, in the morning light, in the dew upon a leaf, in the whisper of my voice within your heart. For when your soul is reborn, you will see that everything around you bears my fingerprints. Do not forget, blessings are not measured by what you possess, but by who you become. When you become one who knows how to love, you are already rich. When you become one who knows how to forgive, you are already strong. When you learn to be at peace in the storm, you have already overcome it. True blessing does not dwell in your hands, but in your heart. It is not found in possessions, but in presence. And when you live in my presence, you are living in the endless source of blessing itself. Now open your heart to receive the flow of light. Let me open your eyes to behold the wonders you have never seen. Let me open your ears to hear the heavenly songs resounding around you. Let me open your heart so my love may pour in, softening every hardened place, soothing every wound, illuminating every corner. For I am doing something new. You will see small miracles each day. You will see yourself transformed, not by striving, but by abiding in me. This is not merely the beginning of a new chapter, but the birth of a new life. The old has passed away, and this new light will continue to grow within you until it becomes a beacon for others. You will be a living testimony that darkness never wins, that love is stronger than fear, that grace can turn ashes into beauty, and that a soul once fallen can rise again, radiant and alive, declaring, I have been reborn. My beloved child, now that your soul has been restored, and the light of new life has awakened within you, I declare it is time for you to become a river of life, flowing from the eternal spring that is myself. You were not created to keep blessings for yourself, but to become a channel through which they flow to the thirsty souls around you. The water in a river never runs dry because it flows continually from its source. In the same way, when you remain in me, your blessings do not come from accumulation but from overflow. You were born not to contain but to give, not to hold but to flow, not to hide the light but to shine it into a world longing for a true ray of hope. I have placed within you the river of my Spirit, not only to refresh you, but to heal the barren ground around you. When I pour out my Spirit, your heart becomes a spring, your words become rain, and your hands become streams carrying life wherever they touch. Every place you pass through, whether desert or wasteland, will begin to bloom again. I have spoken through my prophet Ezekiel, saying that the water flowing from the temple makes everything it touches live. And now, my child, you are that temple. The water flowing from your soul is not natural water, but living water, the water of my grace. You do not need to force it to flow, you only need not to block it. My child, this world is thirsty, not just for water, but for truth, for love, for comfort, for something real amid all the illusions. And I have placed you here in the midst of that thirst, not to judge, but to refresh. When you speak with love, that is water flowing. When you lift someone up, that is water flowing. When you pray for another, even when they do not know, that is water flowing. When you choose forgiveness, when you remain patient, when you quietly sow goodness, expecting nothing in return, the river within you grows stronger, clearer, deeper. Remember, the river never fills itself. It is full because it remains connected to the source. In the same way, you cannot give what you have not received. Do not try to love by your own strength. Love through my river within you. Do not try to rescue by your own wisdom. Let my Spirit flow through you. Do not try to appear strong. Let others see me through your gentleness. When you live in the flow of my Spirit, everything you do, no matter how small, becomes sacred. A word you speak can break the darkness in someone's heart. A smile you offer can melt the frost from a soul that forgot how to feel. A prayer you whisper in secret can change the destiny of a life you've never met. My river does not flow through closed souls, but through open ones. You cannot be a river if you keep control. Water only flows freely when it is released from the banks. I know you fear being hurt, being used, being misunderstood. But my child, the river does not stop because of stones. It bends around them and keeps flowing. Learn to love without holding back. Learn to give without counting. Learn to trust that I will always replenish you, even when you think you are empty. For it is in the very moments you believe you have nothing left to give that my grace rises like the tide. I have not called you to be a pond, but a river. A pond holds blessings but grows stagnant. A river moves through every terrain, flowing onward despite the rocks and valleys. When you flow, you are renewed each day. When you stop, you grow heavy. Many lose their joy, not because they lack blessings, but because they hoard them. But you, my child, I have called to let them flow. Let your love, your words, your time, your kindness, your gratitude flow outward. For the river does not lose by giving, it is filled by its flowing. The world around you may be withered, but you are placed there to bring freshness. You are sent into dry places to carry the breath of life. Every step you take, see it as soil I have given you to water. Every person you meet, whether familiar or stranger, is a thirsty soul waiting for a drop from your river. And never underestimate the power of a small stream. Great rivers are born from faithful trickles. You do not need to do great things, only to be faithful in small ones. Every drop you release today joins the great current of my grace, reaching to the ends of the earth. My beloved, there will be times when your river flows through rocks, through sand, through mud. Do not be surprised by resistance, it means you are flowing in the right direction. The farther a river travels, the more it must overcome. But know this, every obstacle makes the water stronger. Likewise, every trial you face in this journey of giving will make your soul more steadfast. When you are misunderstood, yet still love, your heart expands. When you are betrayed, yet remain at peace, your compassion deepens. When you are blocked, yet choose to keep flowing, you are becoming a true river of life. My beloved child, I will surround you with thirsty souls. Some will come to drink, some only to test the water, and some to see if your water is real. But do not discriminate. The river does not choose whom to serve, it flows for all. So do not choose whom to love, whom to help, or whom to forgive. Let my love within you flow freely. I will take care of where it goes. You only need to let it flow. And do not fear that you will run dry, for when you pour out, I will pour in. When you share, I will multiply. When you give, I will fill you until you overflow beyond measure. I want you to understand that the river does not boast of its water, but of its source. Every blessing in you springs from me. When you remember this, pride will never rule you. You will know that glory belongs to me, but the joy of sharing belongs to you. When you know the source, you will not fear drought. When you know who flows through you, you will not fear loss. And when you know that this stream is eternal, you will not fear time. My river does not only flow across, it also flows down. It reaches the low places, the forgotten, the despised, the avoided. Learn humility, for that is the path by which your waters reach deepest. Come down with me to the wounded, the abandoned, the misunderstood. Bend low to lift them up. Sit beside them in their pain. Let the living water within you soak into the places words cannot reach. For in my kingdom, the lowest river is the strongest one. As you continue to flow, you will not even realize that you yourself are being cleansed day by day. Every time you love, your water becomes clearer. Every time you forgive, your river runs deeper. Every time you help, your heart grows wider. Each act of love not only transforms others, it renews you. The river not only brings life to others, it is constantly renewed along its own journey. And my child, a day will come when you look back and see that every step you took left traces of water behind. The places you walked, the people you touched, all bear the breath of life. You will understand that I did not call you to be famous, but to be fruitful, not to be exalted, but to exalt me. Not that people may remember your name, but that they may remember my love through you. And that my child is true glory, to become a river of grace, flowing endlessly until you merge into the eternal ocean of heaven. So keep flowing. Do not fear the desert, for the desert needs water. Do not fear the dark, for water reflects light. Do not fear being misunderstood, for the river does not explain itself, it simply keeps going. I am within you, and I am the source that never runs dry. Let me pour through you until the whole world knows that love still remains, mercy still lives, and my blessings have never ceased. Let your soul become a river, quiet yet powerful, gentle yet unstoppable, small yet infinite. For when you flow in me, you are bringing the world back to life. My beloved child, when your soul has walked through the full journey of restoration, washed by the waters of the Spirit, refined by the fire of testing and reborn in the light of grace, I come to declare to you, this is the hour of testing, covenant. Not a covenant written on paper or spoken by lips, but one engraved deep in your soul, sealed with breath and eternal love. I have awaited this hour before the foundations of the world, the moment when you and I are no longer two parallel lines, but one in holy union. From now on, you are no longer merely the rescued, but the belonging, not only the believer, but the companion, not one who prays toward heaven, but a soul living within the very heartbeat of heaven itself. Remember, this covenant does not spring from fear, but from love. It does not bind you as a servant, but frees you as a redeemed child. It is not meant to restrict, but to unite. It does not erase your uniqueness, but makes it shine as my reflection. This covenant is not a promise you must keep, but a promise I have already kept for you. On the cross I signed it with the blood of my Son, and from that moment the door of love has never closed again. Now I am not only with you, but within you. You no longer walk merely in my light, you carry that light within your very soul. This covenant is the foundation of everything else. Every promise I have spoken, every blessing you have received, every miracle you have witnessed, each is but a drop from the ocean of this covenant. When you understand it, you will no longer pray in fear, but in confidence. You will no longer question my love, for it has already been proven through the life of the crucified one. You will no longer ask, "Am I worthy?" for the answer has been written in blood, you are justified. Understand, the covenant is not an agreement, but a divine union. It has no conditions, no limits, no expiration. It cannot be broken by failure or erased by weakness. For this covenant rests not on your faithfulness, but on mine. It is not upheld by your strength, but by my hand. No matter how far you wander, I hold the unbreakable cord that binds your soul to my heart. Many think the covenant is distant, reserved for saints, but I tell you, every soul washed in grace is invited to enter it. No one is too small to be loved, too sinful to be forgiven, or too late to be called. I do not choose the perfect, I choose the willing. I do not ask for achievements, I ask for honesty. I do not seek grand offerings, I seek a surrendered heart. When you give me yourself, not your possessions, not your words, but your very soul, that is when the covenant becomes written into your being. This covenant does not dwell in temples of stone, but in the living temple that is you. When I spoke through Jeremiah, saying, "I will put my law within them and write it on their hearts," that is what is happening to you now. My law is no longer lifeless text, but living breath within every beat of your heart. Every time you love, the covenant is alive. Every time you forgive, the covenant speaks. Every time you choose light over darkness, the covenant strengthens. And when you sit still and hear my voice in the wind, you are dwelling in the very center of that covenant. To enter the covenant does not mean storms will cease, but that within every storm you will have a steadfast refuge. You will not avoid the tempest, but you will no longer fear it. You will not avoid tears, but tears will no longer mean defeat. Each tear now becomes rain that waters the garden of grace. Each time you fall, I do not leave you. I place my hand upon your shoulder and say, "Rise, you still belong to me." In this covenant, failure does not end your story. It begins renewal. My child, understand this. The covenant is not merely my promise to you, but my invitation for you to live with me, walk with me, think with me, and love as I love. When you enter this covenant, you will no longer pray for small things, for you already share in the great. You will no longer live to please men, for your heart is bound to the source of the universe. Everything you do, your words, your actions, your thoughts, carries the imprint of the covenant, for I am in them. And know this, from now on you do not live for me, but in me. Let this covenant transform every relationship you have. Let my love within you become the stream that washes away misunderstanding, bitterness, and barriers. You will learn to love, not because others deserve it, but because I loved you first. You will learn to forgive, not because they repent, but because the price of mercy has already been paid for all. You will learn humility not as weakness, but as likeness to me. And in each of these small acts, the covenant is sustained, strengthened, and made radiant beyond measure. In this covenant, I do not ask you to be perfect, but to be faithful. Faithfulness is the sign of a heart that has seen love, a heart that even when falling still turns back to me. When you stumble, do not hide, do not run. Come to me with your tears, for I am not ashamed of your humanity. I am the one who redeems it. I am not surprised by your weakness, because I knew you before you even knew yourself. What matters to me is not that you never fail, but that you never give up the hand I extend toward you. For when you hold on to my hand, even in your brokenness, you are being transformed. Every season of your life, the triumphs and the trials becomes a page of grace that I myself write. You are not walking in circles. You are being led through a divine journey that shapes eternity. There are lessons that can only be learned through pain and depths of love that can only be discovered when all else falls away. So, my beloved, do not measure your worth by your performance. Measure it by my presence. When you fall short, I am near. When you are weary, I am the rest. When you are silent, I am the word that still speaks within you. And when you cannot even pray, remember, your sigh is already a prayer I understand. The covenant between us was not sealed by your promise to me, but by my blood shed for you. That covenant cannot be broken because it was established by eternal love. Even when your faith falters, my faithfulness does not. Even when you lose sight of me, I never lose sight of you. Therefore, walk in peace. Do not strive to be flawless. Strive to be close. Do not try to earn what is already yours. Just receive it. Let grace do what your strength never could. For every time you return to me, every time you lift your gaze from the dust and look toward heaven, the kingdom of God moves within you. And when the world tells you that you are not enough, listen to my voice whispering within, "You are mine, and I delight in you." When you can rest in that truth, you will see this covenant is not a burden, but a song. It is the rhythm of love that began before time and will echo through eternity. And in that song, your soul will find its true home. Walking with me does not mean you move through the world alone. It means I move through you. Many strive to live well so that I might accept them, but you will come to understand this truth. I do not love you because you do well. I love you because you are mine. Each time you stumble, I do not turn away, I stoop down. Each time you cry, I do not ignore you, I wipe your tears. Each time you are weak, I do not condemn you, I lift you up. For my love is not based on your actions, it flows from who I am. I do not merely give love, I am love itself. There will be moments when I seem silent, but remember this. My silence is not absence, it is a deeper form of presence. Like a father teaching his child to walk, I step back for a moment so your legs may grow stronger. When I am silent, it is not because I do not hear. It is because I am teaching you to listen with your soul. When you no longer feel me, it does not mean I am gone. It means I want you to learn to trust without seeing. True faith does not need proof. It is a bond that goes beyond emotion. When you move in the rhythm of heaven, you will discover that everything in life carries a sacred melody. Waiting is not wasted time, it is the rest between notes in my song. Pain is not punishment, it is the chord that deepens the harmony. Joy is not a prize, it is the natural result of a soul in tune with me. When you learn to listen, you will hear me even in silence, hear me in laughter, in tears, in every seeming contradiction. For I am everywhere, and I have never separated myself from your life. My child, walking with me also means learning to rest in me. Rest is not stopping, it is moving in peace. The world teaches you to hurry, but heaven teaches you to slow down. Each time you slow your pace, you give space for me to enter. Each time you pause, you hear my voice more clearly. Each time you release your worries, you will see my hand at work. Resting in me is not laziness, it is surrender through trust. When you learn to rest, you will realize that true strength does not come from striving, but from allowing me to act through you. When I walk with you, I do not only want you to receive blessings, I want you to become a blessing to the world. Your presence will bring peace wherever you go. Your voice will become the sound of hope. The way you live will testify that I am still alive, still loving, still working. You will be my feet walking among the broken, my hands, reaching the forgotten, my words, echoing where love seems lost. You will be the living proof of the covenant that I and you are one and that my love has never ceased. My beloved, When you understand this, you will no longer feel alone. Loneliness exists only when you forget that I dwell within you. When you remember the covenant, every emptiness will be filled. I am the answer to every longing, the comfort to every wound, the home to every journey. When you learn to live with me as you breathe, you will no longer seek completion outside yourself, for I am the fullness within you. Walking with me also means learning to walk with yourself. Do not reject who you are, for I live there. Do not condemn yourself, for I have already forgiven. Do not be ashamed of your scars, for I have turned them into marks of victory. Love yourself as I love you, for when you see yourself through the eyes of grace, you will know how to love the world rightly. True companionship does not begin with walking beside someone else, but with no longer standing against yourself, and there you will find me. Move in the rhythm of heaven, not in haste, not in delay, but in harmony. Let each day of your life become a hymn, each action a note, each word a melody, each breath a praise. Let your entire life become the song of companionship, not where you merely walk with me, but where I live through you. Then heaven and earth shall sing together, for a soul has found the melody of the Creator within its own heartbeat. My beloved child, I have come to tell you this is the moment of complete union. No longer is there a boundary between heaven and earth, between Creator and creation, between Father and the beloved child. All that once divided, all that made you feel distant or lost now, dissolves into a single reality that you are in me and I am in you. This is the destination of the long journey. You have walked through tears, through nights, through waiting and yearning. Yet understand this, my child, this is not the end, but the beginning of a life that never fades. This union does not arrive with thunder or flame, but like a gentle breeze, seeping into every breath, every heartbeat, every silence of your soul. When you are still, you will hear me more clearly than ever. When you are quieted, you will feel me breathing within you. Union is not a flash of light that comes and goes. It is a constant tender flow, a warmth that does not fade, a light that does not dim, a peace untouched by the storms of the world. When you live in this union, nothing will make you afraid, for my perfect love has cast out all fear. Many seek me far away, imagining I dwell somewhere high and distant, but you have come to know I was never far. I never left your soul, not even in your loneliest hour. I was there in every breath, every heartbeat, every hollow space you felt. I am not only the one above, but the one within. When you reach the end of yourself, you will find me. When you touch the depth of your pain, you will touch my mercy. When you walk through the darkest night, you will find my light still burning. For I am not outside of you, I am within. Union does not mean you disappear. It means you are found completely in me. Like a drop of water that falls into the ocean, it does not vanish, it becomes part of the infinite. So when your soul is immersed in me, you are not erased, you are made whole. You are still you, yet through you I am revealed in fullness. All limits dissolve, all walls fall, and your soul becomes free in a way it has never known. Freedom is not doing whatever you wish it is, knowing that nothing can ever separate you from my love. My child, this union is the summit of divine love. It transcends understanding, surpasses words. No language can describe it, no image can contain it. It is something only the soul can grasp when it has walked through all the noise and reached the stillness beyond. In that stillness you no longer speak, no longer ask, no longer seek, because you know you have found. You no longer ask where I am, for you are within me. You no longer look outward, for you have become the light that reflects the light. When you live in this union, everything on earth will appear with new beauty. You will see me in all things, in a child's smile, in a stranger's eyes, in the hush of dawn, in the whisper of leaves in the wind. You will see me even in what you once thought ordinary, for all I have made bears my mark. Union teaches you not to divide the world into good or bad, gain or loss, for you have come to see my hand in both. You will understand that even in what seems like pain, I am weaving the tapestry of grace. When your soul is dissolved in me, you will begin to see through the eyes of love. There will be no more judgment, only compassion. No more demands, only surrender. No more striving, only contentment in peace. You will love not to be loved in return, but because you cannot help but love. You will forgive not because others deserve it, but because you cannot hold anything that contradicts my nature. You will give not to receive, but because giving is how you continue to live in the flow of grace. Then every action, every word, every glance of yours will become a doorway through which others may enter my light. This is the true purpose of existence, not to seek power, fame, or recognition, but to become the dwelling place of my presence. I have chosen your soul as my eternal temple, the place where I delight to abide. Every storm you have faced, every trial you have endured, was part of the cleansing that made you ready for this indwelling. And now, as your heart grows still, I descend like mist, quiet, gentle, overflowing. No candles are needed, no rituals required, only an open heart. In that moment you will understand that heaven is not far away. It has always been within you. I know there will be moments when you still feel weak, when you stumble, when the path grows dim. But remember this, once you belong to me, even your mistakes cannot drive me away. Nothing can stop me from loving you. Even when you forget me, I remember you. Even when you close the door, I remain outside, knocking. I do not come to demand, but to remind you that my love has no condition. And when you realize this, every fault will fade, every shame will be washed away, every distance will disappear. You will no longer beg to be loved. You will live in the certainty that you have always been loved. In this union, time no longer exists as you once knew it. There is no past to regret, no future to fear, only the present where you and I dwell together. This present is holy ground, the gate of heaven open within you. Every breath you take in is my life entering you. Every breath you release is my love flowing out. Everything becomes sacred for you. No longer see with mortal eyes, but through the light of the Spirit. You will see that life is no longer divided between the sacred and the ordinary, for in me all things are holy. Keep your soul like a still lake, so my light can reflect perfectly upon it. Do not let fear ripple the surface. Do not let worry cloud the waters. Do not let the noise of the world drown the eternal melody I am singing within you. When you remain still, you will hear me whisper in your heart, I am here, so simple, so quiet, yet so full that your soul will melt in my presence. You have traveled far, endured, much wept deeply, and believed faithfully. And now I want you to know none of it was in vain. Every tear you have shed I have gathered in heaven's golden bowl. Every silent prayer I have heard and recorded in my remembrance. Every small act of sacrifice I have seen and turned into a precious gem. All of it forms the symphony of the covenant one that does not end in silence but in everlasting light and peace. You belong to me forever. No power, no world, no enemy, no darkness can separate you from me. You have become part of me like fire within fire, like light within light, like love within love. You need not search for heaven, for you are its very breath. You need not beg to live in the light, for the light has chosen to dwell within you. You need not fear the future, for the future rests in the hands of the one who shaped the universe. And you need not prove anything, for your very existence is the proof that love has triumphed over all. Now I invite you to rest in me. Not rest as in the ending, but rest in harmony. Let your soul lie in my arms like a child, asleep on its father's chest. No fear, no struggle, no separation. Let your being blend into my breath, so that every heartbeat of yours echoes the rhythm of eternal love. For this is the destiny of your soul, not to search for me, but to become one with me. And when you step back into the world, remember this. Do not say God is in heaven. Say, instead, He is within me. Do not seek light afar shine where you stand. Do not wait for a miracle become a miracle. For I, the Creator of all things, am alive, breathing, and working through your soul. And from now until forever, there will no longer be I and you, only one eternal, unchanging love. Thank you for listening to this message today. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that together we may receive the living word and build unshakable faith and walk in the boundless love of God. Amen.